Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to an off-season edition of the Hype League podcast. You might remember I said June 1st I was going to send out an email with some rules changes, setting up the draft day, things like that. I decided just to do a podcast instead. You may notice Rico and Dustin are a little quiet at the beginning, but after a minute or two, I noticed it and I turned their volume up. Hope you enjoy. There's a lot of stuff to listen to today, a lot of stuff we'll want your league's input on. I look forward to hearing from you.
Not the money, not the fame. Love the struggle, love the pain. After all that we have gained, we realize we're all the same. Sacrifice, my brothers cried. We've been gone when family died. Losing my focus, symphonies open, singing my opus. Just for a moment, one day I'll get home, we can throw a big party. Invite all the people that helped us get started. To all of you want us to feel like a martyr. Don't ever give up, you just gotta go on.
Good buddy Rico. Nice to join you for a fantasy football podcast.
All right, thank you guys for coming today. Dustin's here too. He did not follow the say hi directive.
I was waiting for Rico to finish. His was a long intro.
Okay, so we had a little technical difficulties that people don't need
Lots
to.
of things on me long.
Yeah, actually that sucks because that was actually a good setup I had over there. And I need to figure out how to get Zoom to work next time because this is not.
Yeah, I like the Zoom format. I mean,
Yeah, it sucks is I signed up for the pro plan. It didn't even give me a price. Now I have to go cancel it.
nice.
I didn't even see. I just was trying to quickly sign up for the pro plan so I could record the meeting. I probably will just sign up for it during the season or see if I can use Clark somehow. All right, let's jump into the show because I know you guys are a little pressed for time here. Here are the things I wanted to talk about today. I have a list. I want to talk about the potential rules changes and or tweaks that I think we should make this year. And then planning the auction day is obviously something we need to do right now. And then I want to get your thoughts on, the coronavirus and the effects it's going to have on the league and our fantasy season, more importantly. So, let's start with this. Last time the three of us talked was on our fantasy baseball podcast.
Our fantasy baseball podcast.
Yes, which most people probably don't know that we have that. But we do a fantasy baseball show too. And we talked about a month ago. And we thought we had a pretty good idea of what was about to happen. And we were totally wrong. We had no idea. We still have no idea what was going to happen in the baseball season. So
Seems like we're farther away from our resolution.
yeah, I mean, it seems now like no baseball. Is that a natter day?
Sure is.
Nice. I had to choke my last beer. But so it seems like I'm not that worried about football not being played. But are you guys worried that something will come up this season that disturbs fantasy football in a way that that we aren't seeing right now? Because just a month ago we thought we had a pretty good idea what baseball was doing, and we didn't. And the NFL's moving forward hey, no big deal. We have this all covered. But they're also selling tickets to 70,000 people, and those people aren't going to be going to the games. So it's hard to just trust them. Does that make sense? Dustin?
I think financially they're prepared for something like that. Pittsburgh only sold half their season tickets for now. They're just getting rid of half and seeing what happens.
I had not heard that.
If they're planning on playing, the owners seem like they want to play. They're prepared. They're prepared for the financial ramifications that are going to come with the season.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, their TV contracts will just be that much more worthwhile to everybody else too. So I'm not even worried about the money portion of it. Only thing I worry about is if there's a fucking hiccup. If five guys on the fucking in the fucking basketball get it and they have to shut that whole thing down, or the hockey guys get it, or another flare-up of sorts, I guess you would call it.
Yes.
Is the only thing I'm really afraid of before then, because then you got to shut it all down and figure it all out. You can't have as far as competitive balance stuff goes, you can't have three guys on the fucking Nationals got it and now you're not playing football either, because what do you do? What do you do? How do you police that?
So, Rico, you've pretty much come to my next point. Where, the whole reason I brought this up, the point I wanted to make, players, it's maybe not the only point I would make, but it's one of the things on my list. Players are going to get it some of them at least. And I read something they had contingencies about, like, okay, if a player gets coronavirus, he has to sit out 2 games and is quarantined or whatever. And that was the sound of a bong. And my worry is, like, we don't know, is that going to be 4 players all season? Is that going to be 100 players?
Right.
Like, and I'm worried.
And then, if that were to happen, there's going to be, unprecedented of, oh, well, this guy needs 3 weeks, or, well, does he get paid for those weeks? And all that kind of crazy business end of shit. It's just everything's so up in the air, and right now it's crazy.
Right. I mean, we have a long way to go before we're worried about the season. But here's my
hockey starting up soon?
Hockey's commissioner came out with his plan to start, but there's no date on it.
Okay. I was gonna say, because we might learn something there. See what happens when that gets going.
It would be nice. Yes, it would be nice to have somebody like that would help. My worry, my main worry is more about fantasy because whatever, the NFL is going to do whatever the NFL does, and we can't control that. But
my team's definitely going to run rampant with Corona.
So like we have. It wouldn't be a big deal if we didn't have this secondary pot rolling, right? Like, if we were just playing out this season only, then it wouldn't matter. We'd all be falling under the same rules. Nobody would have any...
Are you trying to call this the Corona year and go no Empire for 1 year?
Well, that's what I was going to build up to slowly.
Right. My apologies.
I was going to...
I was shocked at what I heard.
Well, no, and I was going to say, like, before I even said that, I was going to say that nobody's going to think this is a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. You guys aren't going to think it's a good idea. It's a crappy idea, and it sucks. But I think we should at least have some sort of contingency in place. Like, some rules that say, like, well, this didn't go the way it should. It's unfair to Case going for the pot. And I'm not saying, like, we just start from the beginning saying no.
Oh, you're worried about being unfair to Case? I was not worried about that at all.
Well, I know, but I am trying to be fair to everyone here.
I was just trying to make a joke. We love Case.
I know, right. But, do you understand what I'm saying? Like...
Yeah, I mean, I think as unreasonable as most of us are sometimes, when it comes to real life things, we're pretty reasonable human beings. And if something came up, we would have a reasonable discussion about it. And it's not like life-changing money in this side pot at this point, and I don't think any of us are big enough scumbags to do anything stupid over it,
Right. But I guess maybe I'm probably always overreacting.
Is all.
Like, I know it probably seems like I take this too seriously, but it's only because I want to get out in front of problems before they happen, just so that, you guys aren't, no one's like looking to me to make a decision down the road that's going to make some people happy and piss some people off. Like, I'd rather get out in front of it.
Absolutely. Always have a contingency plan and backup, and yes.
So
it always sucks having to change something midway.
So, like, that's something, like, for the guys who are listening more so, like, if you guys have a thought of what should be required, like, because, like we said, like, what if, like, a stripper in Dallas gets coronavirus? Next thing you know, the whole Dallas Cowboys team has it.
Right. Now how is that fair? Do they just shut down the whole Cowboys? Do they, what the fuck?
Exactly. If this was a video podcast, you would see me making weird faces right now, because I don't know. And I'm like, that's exactly what I was saying. And you guys have been more receptive to what I'm saying than I planned on you guys being. Because...
it's dumb to not at least discuss it. Like, I guess you gotta have some thought behind it, but I'm just going with we're reasonable, and if something that obscene happens, we'll figure it out.
Okay. I do think if you're listening and you have I'm gonna there'll be like emails going back and forth. I thought this would be a good way to start the conversation and people could give us their input. That's why this is like the main reason I wanted to get a podcast done here soon, so we can at least lay like a framework over the summer of what we should be looking towards. And then, like, maybe, like...
Is that where you're at? The closet again?
Yes, I'm in the closet. Usually I go with a background here, but... No, so you guys can see my shoes.
Closet background.
Oh, actually, let me shut this. I don't know if Steph's in a call. So, like, the main thing I'm looking for is we should come up with at least something that, like, a baseline requirement of, like, we need to have at least, we know these will be the last 3 games of the regular season. These are the playoffs. Like, at least, at minimum, we have to have that, I think, right? Like, I don't want, there shouldn't be any, like, guessing. Like, we don't know how many games are going to be left or anything like that. And then try to have a playoffs or, like, if there's only ends up being 10 games or something, that's not really fair to everybody or Case. And I think, like, if we should have, like, a requirement where if we don't meet that requirement, somebody still wins the money for this year, but then Case gets to go for it next year. Maybe even both people go for it next year. I don't know what you guys would think, but
that's like a totals bet in baseball. It's got to hit a certain amount of innings for the bet to count.
Sure.
It's got to go to a certain amount of games for that to kick in, and if it doesn't, then I don't know that we could have 2 people go for it next year, but maybe we could. I mean, if I were one of them, I'm sure I'd be pushing for it.
Yeah, if you're Casey, you're like, well, how do I get bummed out of a chance at it, period?
No, well, worst case
tough.
scenario, Case has to get to go for it next year, but maybe somebody else could get to go for it too. I don't know, and I'm sure people listening to this are not responsive to that plan, but I just at least wanted to, like, discuss it, and you guys seem to be more open-minded about it than I expected, so I was glad to hear that, and hopefully the people listening will have some ideas as well. Okay, any last thoughts? I'm looking at my notes. You guys have answered most of the questions I had without me even prompting you, so great job on that. We don't. One of the questions was, what would a contingency plan look like? But we don't need to, like, come up with that right in this moment. Maybe I should have given you that info earlier, and you guys could have thought about it a little bit. But in the email chain that's going to follow
from
this.
everybody else after this.
Exactly. That's what.
From there, then we'll reopen the discussion.
Exactly. Like, after this, people will listen to this podcast, respond to the emails, and then we can work out. I do think though we need to come up with some sort of baseline for what constitutes, like, an official season. And if we don't hit that benchmark, at least Case should get to go for it again next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys took to that better than I thought. I was going to build up this whole, like, thing. Like, I was going to lay out my points and then, like, get to
Relat Case.
And I didn't. Whatever. Okay, it all worked out pretty good. So, part of that, I guess, too, it kind of goes into the next part of the thing I wanted to talk about. We actually got through that part faster than I thought. So let's just roll right into rules changes. Well, no, so I wrote down, have this part lead into rules changes. So, like, do you guys think we should add a roster spot to all the teams? Because, like, or more. Because we all play fantasy baseball together. What is that, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they changed it from the 15-day IL to the 10-day IL, and then the concussion list. And our fantasy league ended up a year or two behind on expanding injured slots because teams were putting more guys on injured reserve or injured list or whatever. And if lots of players end up getting it this year, like that sucked in baseball when, I mean, there were teams, I think it was like Jacob had like they had like his roster, his DL spots were full, and then he had like 5 other guys on the DL too, because that was our fault for not, like, getting the rules figured out right. So do you guys think
especially because in this league is so deep that if you have 2 guys hurt or 2 guys out at the same time, you can't even let them go.
Right,
yeah,
you can't.
You'll never get equal return from the waiver wire.
You cannot.
If everybody 2 more spots, though, it would be nobody there.
There'd be nobody there. But
Ruben drones right now.
Yes,
hoping.
I agree with you. I see both sides of this issue.
But maybe the 3rd running back some places is more valuable if now we got guys out on Corona too. I don't fucking know.
Right, like it would probably mostly be picking up more backup running backs is where the issue that's where the extra roster spots would go. And yes, playing 3 and caring what we do, we already are at like a premium on that. You know what I'm saying? But I do kind of think that like you can't like force someone. You don't want to be forced people to cut players either that they want to keep, which is part of the reason why I feel like maybe this should be like the season of coronavirus, and we should play it out as a single individual season and continue with like the hype league next year. But I don't think that's going to be a positive. I don't think everyone's going to take that well, so I don't want to. But like I think
somebody who wants the league to end, that definitely adds time to it.
Yes, and I actually in my initial set of notes I had written that down that like Dustin's not going to like this plan.
I'm open to it because it does make some sense to maybe have a different. But I mean, who knows? We might get to the end of July and we got a full go schedule and we don't even got to worry about it.
And we got a vaccine, and we got a who knows? It could be like okay, you need a week off thing, and like no kids anymore. Like
rich people do seem to get stuff when they need it.
Yes, but no vaccine has ever been like completed in less than 5 years. So
I'm sure Magic can get them the cure.
Yes, maybe if Magic Johnson gets coronavirus, then we'll have a vaccine for it in no time.
Cure real quick.
But like, not everyone's a national treasure like Magic Johnson, and we may not ever get that
treasure.
So okay, so you guys, like Dustin, then Rico, yes or no on adding a roster spot? Just like without thinking about it too much. Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea, Dustin?
I'd be open to the extra roster spot. I mean, like I said, cutting the player is what usually makes picking up a shitty player tough. To roster an extra shitty player would definitely be beneficial.
Rico?
Definitely yes. I know I kind of argued against it for a second there, but honestly, I believe I'm always about more roster spots. Plus, I figure anything that's going to make the draft longer is beneficial for it.
Well, we could even do like the first year we drafted the same, and then everyone it started with like a waiver wire process for your final guy. Like so we don't have necessarily.
Where Rick gets to start first.
That's not how it went. that wasn't the same year anyway.
No.
Would add cash to the draft, or now you just got to reprogram the money you spend?
Well, that's a good point.
Or it would just be a free agent pickup afterwards.
Yes,
like he said,
draft the same amount of spots for the same amount of money, and then it's a free for all for the day waivers open.
Right, you can just bid whatever you want on your first player. Maybe add a couple extra bucks to maybe make it $55 instead of $50, just to give you a little extra to play with on your last roster spot. Unless, I mean, I'll have to look into more like what Yahoo's because in baseball they put a guy on an injured list and he can't play. In football, like there's no like regular injured list. If a guy's like, I don't know what Yahoo's rules are about injured football players. Like, is there a way, like, if he's listed as out, you can put him on an injured list? If you can do that, then that's the option we should go with. But I've never done that in football, and I don't know how that. I mean, and I would be willing to add, 3 DL spots, if that's a way, if that works in Yahoo, because like you shouldn't have to cut guys that are good players because they got coronavirus. I mean, it's. We don't, players get injured every year, and maybe this year it'll just be a couple of extra guys, and we're making too big of a deal about it right now. Or maybe it will be literally happening all the time, and make big changes in the season this year. I don't think any of us have any idea how that's going to go. Right.
I don't think everybody knows exactly how it's going to go. So us three definitely have no idea.
Right. The three of us thought we knew what was going on in baseball a month ago, and we know far less now. Except that now, a month ago, it felt like, yes, they were playing, and now it feels like, nah, they're not playing.
I don't know. I think hockey coming out with their plan puts pressure on them. You want to be the first ones back. You're outdoors. You should be the first ones back. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, they should. Except it feels like the players and the owners aren't going to come to an agreement. I don't have that fear with the NFL because there's so much more TV money in football than baseball, and all the baseball teams have their own little contracts. Like the Yankees get like, I can't even guess what their at this point what their local TV deal is worth compared to the Indians.
They own their own network. They
Right.
own their own
So
network.
right. So what they make off of like the so I don't even know actually I guess so once upon a time the Yankees got like $500 million from the Yes Network for their games. I don't have any idea what the Yankees play local games now, but the Indians were getting not even like a 20th of that. You know,
Actually, we do better than most teams on our TV contract after STO.
after that, yes. But it's still not close to the Yankees.
No.
And nothing will ever will be. But football doesn't have any of those kind of issues. So I'm not worried so much about that stuff in football. I feel like if they're going to play, if
No owner is losing money in the NFL, regardless of how many games we play, don't play, fans, no fans. They'll all make money. There's no fear of a cheap guy, a broke guy, like not being able to afford it and stuff. Like they'll be fine. The NFL will do fine.
And I actually don't think any baseball owners are losing money either. They're just crying poor. But
Yeah. Well, we live in Cleveland, so
right.
some of us live in Cleveland.
Yeah, I'll be back in Cleveland soon enough.
Yeah, what's North Dakota's baseball team thinking? Looking good this year?
No, the Fargo Moorhead Redbirds. I have not heard any updates. We were hoping to go to a game or two this year when you guys came up. Well, not
Where
Rico.
are they? AA or
What's that?
what are they? Single A, double A?
No, like independent league.
Oh.
Yeah, like we were hoping to go to a game or two. Like it's actually within like walking distance of our apartment. Well, walking
Some of them
distance.
small parks, the minor league parks and stuff, are cool as fuck.
Yeah. Well, this isn't going to be like that. I think this. I mean, I don't know where the stadium is. I'm guessing it's just. I think they might play in the same stadium that North Dakota State baseball plays in. So it's probably decent.
That'd be cool.
But we're not gonna see that. And I was hoping maybe we would go to a game when like Dustin and Jacob came up, but that's not happening anymore. But whatever. Like, yeah, Fargo Moorhead Redbirds probably not playing this season. But
Just think about it though. What a year for you to have to be stuck in North Dakota. Like nobody's doing anything anyway, so you're not fucking missing anything.
yeah, but conversely, like there's a lot of stuff we wanted to do up here that we're not gonna be able to do. Like this is our 1 year in North Dakota that we wanted to like experience North Dakota, and now we're kind of, you know, like one thing specifically, like there was like a community pool, like an old school like sandlot style pool, and I was like, I am gonna come here in the summer all the time. And now I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go there. There's gonna be coronavirus floating around all over this thing. So,
He wanted to experience North Dakota. Now he's recording a podcast in a closet.
yes, right. So, all right. So you guys think we covered that enough? We just gave people some ideas. They can chime in. I don't want to like this come off like I've made any decisions or like I'm leaning any one way. I would actually enjoy some input from. That's why.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff we're overlooking on both sides.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to have you guys on today. Like where I was kind of like in a rush to get a podcast out so that I could get like feedback from you guys on mainly the thing we just talked about. Like that's the most important part. I have a couple of rules things here, the other things that I want to talk about, but they're more like tweaks. You know, things that I think we should change a little bit. Nothing like major like we just talked about. So, any last thoughts on that before I move on to the next topic?
Nope.
Rico?
All good, baby.
Okay. So I have a couple of rules proposals that I had marked down. Do you guys remember when I sent you all that message saying, hey, put an alert in your Google Calendar for June 1st with any ideas you might have? You remember that?
I'm guessing nobody does.
I'm guessing I'm the only one who did it. But I did it. And here are the things that I had marked down that I at least think we should think about. One I think was pretty popular among people was that they'd like the trade deadline moved back a week or two. Which, the reason we made it so early was just because we were, we didn't know how it was going to go. We wanted to avoid people colluding with one another, to take home the big pot or whatever. And the easiest way to do that was just make it so that everybody was still in it come playoff, come trade deadline time. Like at week 8 last year, Malinsky was probably in like 10th or 11th place, and then he almost made the playoffs. So anyone is still in at our playoff deadline. I think moving it back to week 9 or 10 would not be horrible, and I kind of at this point trust everyone not to. I trust everyone now more than I did 4 years ago. Now that we have a baseline of how people are going to do their trading and stuff. You guys have any thoughts on that? Rico first.
Well, yeah, a champion doesn't get to trade anyway, so it would be more somebody trying to wipe them out than somebody.
Exactly.
So, but I'd be okay with them. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's too late. What are most leagues?
I think most leagues are most leagues are definitely later. I chose the earliest option that Yahoo gave us. I think most I do when I listen to podcasts, I do hear them talking about trades for like a month after our trade deadline is passed. So I don't want to move it back to like week 12, but week 9 or 10, I think, is acceptable. Dustin, what do you think?
Most of mine are 12, I think. I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
12 is the trade line, and I would say I'm cool with that in here.
Dustin?
I would definitely, I think, move it back, especially like we were talking about picking up free agents during those bye weeks. You get a 6-team bye week, and instead of dropping a player, or even if you're low on fab, and you can trade for some fab week 11 to pick up a player. If you're, like the fact that we can do that, I think backing it up would be beneficial.
Okay, so we have three of us think we should back it up. I felt like most people thought that too when we brought it up last year. So I think I was probably the one holding it back. Like most people probably been okay with it from the beginning. I was just taking a cautious approach. Because I don't want to be, at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to be the guy who says, the fuck you guys doing? I don't even want to do that. We're all friends in this league. At least everyone is my friend. Like, maybe you guys all don't know each other as well. And maybe we all like Minotti or whatever. But other than that, like, most of us are friends.
Poor Minotti.
I know, I'm just busting his balls. I actually was going to text him to see if he wanted to be on today.
Poor Minotti.
The podcast we did with Minotti last year and Dustin that never aired was probably the best one of the whole entire season. It sucked.
It was really good.
There was one point that we laughed. I don't even remember what it was, but we laughed for like 5 minutes. Something was so funny. Dustin, do you remember what it was? Probably retelling the story wouldn't be as funny. But whatever it was, we laughed and laughed forever.
Well, we'll have to get.
All right, so let's move on to the next thing. So this is one that I definitely think we should do. When it comes playoff time, I think we should at least give like $1 or $2 a week to the teams that are still active in, if you make the playoffs in your first week, you should get like $1 or maybe $2 of fab money. And then like the people who have more left will still have the advantage to get the guys they want. But like I know Rico, I think it was you and I last year, we played for third place. And we both had lots of guys hurt and no money to spend to pick anybody up.
Yeah, rosters we put out were garbage.
Yeah, right. I mean, the whole year I carried Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, I'm thinking like, oh, Madison looks good. If Cook gets hurt, I'm not going to miss that much. And then they both get hurt, and I got nobody to play. I think I had Peyton Barber and Frank Gore in that week. So I do think there should at least be $1 or $2 available to pick up in the playoffs. But I don't want to go to no bids in the playoffs because the people who did save their money should get to use that over everyone else. Like that should be an advantage you get if you didn't spend it. But I do think the people who make it should get a chance. Dustin, what do you think?
I kind of think that fab money should reset for the playoff teams. Start the playoffs on an even playing field. Whether you saved it or not, you get your fab money through week 16 and then do what you said. You get a certain amount, so spend it early. Don't save it. Get a set amount for the playoffs.
That's a thought. We'll see what people think of that in the emails. Rico, what do you think? I'm not in favor of Dustin's plan, but if everyone else was, I would be fine with it.
I don't make the playoffs, so I don't give a shit what you guys do. You guys can fucking have a free-for-all. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not there.
Rico, what do you think?
I'm saying I like to add a couple bucks. I think saving should have value. I think I don't know if I like to set everybody up equal. Well, no, that's not fair to the guy that saved money or who had a good enough roster to be able to save money. Not just that they were like a chooch about it.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see. Hopefully people will respond after listening to this and see what they think. I think most people are just going to be cool with adding a buck or two a week so that you can make a move. No one should lose the championship because they couldn't pick up a guy off waivers, you know. That doesn't seem fair. Another one that I think is a small... You guys have any last thoughts on that, or can I move on to the next one?
Move on.
I'm good.
Okay. So the next one I think is not even like a... I don't even think it's like a rules change. I think this was kind of an oversight in the way we've been doing stuff. But guys who play on Thursday should not be available to be picked up until the following week. Right?
Agree.
Like, that should have been the rule the whole time. And Mike's not... Like, Minotti did it last year. He's not the only one who's done it. I know for sure that I did it one year with a Jaguars player. And when I did it, I didn't even necessarily know that it was going to go the next morning. I just went on, like, oh, I need to get this guy. I put in a bid, and the next morning it was through. And it was like, oh. And that was, like, our first year. We probably should have spotted it then. I think that's
once you play for the week, you're on waivers till the next week.
Yeah, I think that's an oversight in the way we do things, and it needs that.
I understand what you're saying. I didn't understand it first. So you're saying the guys who play on Thursday night and then this guy gets hurt, you pick up his backup Friday morning before everybody has a chance to play the whole week.
Exactly. Like, and if there's Saturday games, we don't know what the schedule's going to look like, especially if they don't play college football in the fall. We don't. It seems like now they're leaning towards they're going to play, but we don't know for sure. If there's no college games, I bet the NFL will play on Saturday and Sunday. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, why not?
But basically, if you once you play for the week, you should be on waivers until the following week. So it seems like you guys are both on board with that.
100%.
I think everyone else will be too.
I'm only like 97%, but I'm still in.
All right, so let's look at what I have the next one. There was one more I had. Oh, the last one. So this one's funny because this is one of the ones I wrote down way back when, and I don't really remember why I felt so strongly about it now. You know, moving the first day of transactions from Wednesday to Thursday. I don't actually have anything a good spiel about it because I don't remember why I thought it was a good idea. I just know that I wrote it down. I'm going to
go ahead and tell you right off the bat that I do not care when that starts.
Like after the week of play, the waivers don't go through until Wednesday?
That's how it is now. You put in waivers Tuesday night, they run Wednesday morning. My proposal would be that they run Thursday morning. That's what they do in our CBS league, Dustin.
Oh, no, actually, I just take that back. Because if you got a guy playing Thursday and you didn't get the guy you thought you were going to get,
right,
you're kind of screwed. I like it Wednesday.
Okay. I understand. Yes, I understand that. That was one of the first things I thought of. I do feel like there was a reason that I
would agree that by Wednesday is plenty of time. If you don't have it in by Wednesday, and then you should at least get that Wednesday, no, I got to do something else for Thursday, if necessary.
I think my thought must have been is that like no injury reports come out by Wednesday, and that like we're kind of up in the air about a lot of guys on Wednesday. But it sounds like you guys are not interested in that. Like, you know, to change a rule in this league, pretty much everybody has to be in. We're 0 for 2 here already means that if one other person listening says no, then there's no change. So we don't got to worry about that. Okay. Did you guys have any thoughts about potential rules changes?
I got a few things written down.
Go, Dustin.
Hey, Dustin, can you hold that thought for 1 second and chat amongst yourselves? I'm going to go pee.
All right, I might do it actually.
Well, then who am I going to chat? It's a real bummer.
Either your cat or your dog.
I'm going to go smoke dope. Wait, are we recording?
All right, Dustin, what thoughts did you have about...
All right, well, the first thing is not a rule change, but I did... What was the rules about what has to be done to add a co-owner in the league?
I think you need... It's like any other rules change. You need votes from 9 out of 12 people to change anything in the league. So basically everyone has to be on board except There can be a couple holdouts, but for the most part, everyone needs to be on board. Or we're going to change.
Can
anything.
I nominate 2 people and then everybody votes on both of them? And if either one gets the vote, I can have a
You're
co-owner?
looking at a co-owner? You're looking to add a co-owner?
I have 2 people that will pay the fee this year to be on the team, and then we'll split it going forward and co-own. I didn't have the foresight hand-to-hand to get a co-owner off the bat. The guy's smart. I don't know what to say.
Well, to be honest, the only reason Handa was allowed to do it is because he did it before I said no. Like, and he said it with Glover, and I didn't want Glover. I mean, even Handa was like the best guy in the world, other than maybe Sharp. It was other people I would have, like, I love Kish and I'm happy he's in the league. But if one of you two would have come to me and said you wanted to have Kish be your co-owner, I'd be like, no. So.
Well, yeah, I'm not asking for a Jeopardy champ. My kid didn't even graduate high school.
Is
My
Jacob?
guy's a moron. He's not a genius like Kish.
Is it Jacob?
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anyone who didn't graduate high school. Okay,
I mean,
yeah. Yes,
let him draft
Dustin,
him, he's on.
as far as I'm concerned, yes, you can nominate 2 players. I will put it up to a vote, and if people say yes, you can add them.
Okay.
I did tell
All right,
Kate.
the other things were a little bigger of tweaks, I suppose. One's kind of
Who's your other person? Hold on. Who's
Yeah,
your
wait.
other
Well,
person?
first, let's stop for 1 second. First, I did, like, Case wanted to use a surrogate drafter last year, and I told him no. So, like, that 1 year he used one because it was like a family emergency. And then the second year he wanted to do it again, and I said he couldn't. So I do want to just put that out there that there is precedent for needing league approval to do this.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a surrogate drafter. He's not just drafting that I'm running the team. I'm not sending in a better drafter to run that I'll take over.
Right. So
it's so that I can do the podcast and deal with the shenanigans, and he can maybe win a few weeks.
Okay. So, who's the other guy? Jacob? I can see Jacob getting approval. I could.
And Hark.
Yeah, I doubt that one.
Well, maybe I'm throwing out 2 so that you're like, well, no Hark. Jacob looks great now.
Yeah. Well, I know you had mentioned Sean Franklin in the past. As much as I like Sean, he's not going to come to the auction. So.
He won't come every year. So then I would end up just having to draft myself anyway.
Okay. Yes, I am happy to send out a poll. Maybe like if we discuss rules changes, I will put those names on there. I'm pretty confident Jacob would get approved for sure. Hark, maybe, but maybe not.
But if they were both, say, hypothetically, they're both approved, what would you do? Who asked you first? Like, who would you let in first?
I had discussed it with Hark first, but I'd rather do it with Jacob.
Yeah, you would.
Motherfucker. So I would probably pick Jacob.
I almost texted you the other day, and nothing. Sorry, never mind. Rico, go ahead.
And Jacob helped me out a little bit last year, or he screwed me.
I was saying he helped you out by spending all your money on Kamara and Kelsey.
Spent all my money before I got back. I guess maybe he didn't help.
Big help. Big help.
Necessarily.
Rico, you have any thoughts on that?
No.
Okay.
Not more.
All right, Dustin, what's your next thought?
Next thought. So trades. How we can trade for Fab. Could we trade for next year draft money? Like me and Malinsky make a trade, he goes down from whatever, but you could cap it at a certain number. You can only earn like $20 more. Like you wouldn't earn $100 and make it ridiculous. So it'd be a smaller number, but a number.
I don't like that thought. Rico, thoughts?
No. Hard nope.
Yeah.
Hard nope.
I won't think that when we get.
The draft has to stay pure. And it's an auction draft already, which is enough. The draft has to stay pure.
Right, and like the problem would be like if. Yeah, like I don't think that works. Moving on.
All right. The other one is a tweak to the roster that instead of having to start 3 running backs, 3 receivers, you can start 2 running backs and get a flex non-quarterback spot. I think it would, a lot of times you'll be starting your 3 running backs, but I do think it would help in the bye weeks where you're picking up a 3rd string running back you know is going to get a point just to try to make it. You can pick up a 3rd wide receiver and get 4 or 5 points. It'll keep you a little bit more competitive in the week than having to try to pick up the 1,000th running back on the list.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it tough, but I kind of like the way it is that it's tough. Like, adding extra flex just makes it easier. I mean, it's a major change. I mean, I'm happy to put it up for a vote. I probably wouldn't vote for it. Rico, do you have thoughts?
I mean, I'd have to really do some hard analysis, but just for hearing the idea for the first time, my intuition was to like it. I enjoyed it. I think it could be beneficial. I don't necessarily think easier is always worse. Like,
Sure.
I'm okay with my life getting easier. And
I think it would only come into play really in those bye week situations. I don't know you're starting 4 wide receivers all the time.
But it is a PPR league, so like having the option to take.
But did you look at the receivers that were there when you're looking for receiver players in weeks? You know, they're not catching 5-6 balls a game.
Oh, sometimes
They're getting 5-6. They might even get 5 targets a game.
I don't know. There were times where like Cole Beasley or Adam Humphries, I know, were pickups last year that had. It's a lot easier to pick up a receiver who's going to score points. Well, obviously this is why you're nominating the change.
Yeah,
it's
it
easier
sucks to
to
pick up a guy you know is going to do absolutely nothing. He might not even see the field.
Right. But you also you don't want to pick up a guy. You should be carrying, you should be thinking about it weeks before.
Roster spot will help that.
Bonus roster spot might alleviate that, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to add the bonus roster spot, but I think this season it would make sense to do. I would want to take it away next year. I hate deep benches because you got to be able to make moves during the season. Like it's not as fun. It's not like it's the whole point is making moves.
I don't know. I like that you have to get a good fucking team and roster them and survive too. Not just always. I don't know.
No, that's fair. Maybe that's how. I mean, I don't know how everyone else thinks. That's how I.
All right,
look
the
at
last one I have is we just quit the league and everybody splits up the money. We go our separate ways.
That is a horrible plan.
I would not vote for that.
All right.
I mean, I'm okay if it ends, but I'm not like rooting for it actively like you.
No, I was talking to Malinsky earlier, and I said something about not wanting to play or whatever, wanting to get to end. He goes, if somebody wins twice in a row, we're just going to start again, and you're going to play.
Exactly.
And I said, well, yeah, I don't want to do it, but I also don't want to be left out.
Like just like you said, you quit fantasy sports. We just started a new baseball league, even though it's probably not going to play.
Well, that was my plan all along. I knew he would never actually play it.
Yeah, I think next year if they don't play this year, we're going to boot JT out of the league. So if anybody out there is listening wants to play fantasy baseball.
Whoa, what did JT do to you?
I followed him on Twitter for like 2 days, and now I never want to talk to him again.
Oh, boy, now I got to go check his Twitter history.
I sent it to you guys. I sent it to the group chat before.
You don't Twitter.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's
out hard on Twitter.
So, if anyone's interested in fantasy baseball, we might have a spot in our league next year.
Just don't suck at Twitter.
Yes. Or don't play Twitter. One or the other. Rico, did you have any... Dustin, that was it, right?
That was it. I'm all set.
Rico, is there any tweaks or changes you thought we should make that weren't addressed?
No, my only notes on it, I pretty much covered both of them. Just most situations we've been through by now, and I'm pretty happy with how it's going, and I didn't really see much need for changes. No particular changes recommended by franchise owner Rico.
Like, in general, I don't want to make changes because I feel like with the rolling pot, we should stick to what we play. And then we can make lots of change. I'm cool with making lots of changes when someone wins it and we start over. I just think we should stick to mainly the same rules unless pretty much everybody wants to change. until
Agreed.
until the pot's won.
I
But
don't
like
think
that's
there's
why
any
like
glaring
but like tweaks.
enough. Tweaks are cool.
Yeah.
You have to adapt and survive.
Yeah, like we didn't have everything perfect at the beginning. We have some things that need to change that we didn't necessarily foresee. But
There were some things you brought up though that I didn't think of that I thought were good ideas.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm not saying don't ever change anything. I'm just saying that
Right.
I didn't think that it was a glaring need in my mind.
we've made some small changes over the last couple of
Yeah.
years. I mean, some that were like that I just did because, I didn't ask for a vote. I just said, "Hey, what do you guys think of this? If you have a problem with it, speak up." And then no one said anything. We just changed a little thing, So, okay, so we have nothing else there. Do you guys have a calendar available?
Not much on it.
I
do. I do.
On your phone. Well, so Labor Day weekend is like the 5th or 7th or something this year, right? The 6th, something like that.
It's the 7th, Monday the 7th.
Okay, so the week we would usually do the auction would be the Saturday before that, which is what date?
The 29th
The
of
29th.
August.
So I would propose that we set out to make August 29th the auction. That is the usual day we do it. Last year we bumped it back a week because of you had a wedding and I was going to North Dakota. I think we should go back to the original date. So,
I agree, because actually I don't have the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the weekend before that available, so
yeah, I don't want to go
it
forward.
would be tougher after that.
I don't want to go forward at all, or back at all. I'd only if we had to reschedule from the 29th, I would want to go towards Labor Day weekend, not backwards, because too much stuff happens. We don't even know. We have no idea this year what the preseason is going to look like. We don't even know who we're going to see play before the year or anything. So put that out there.
Right.
So
Rico?
I'm okay with that date in general, but only with the contingency that, if things are changing, I want to draft closer to the season start. I don't want to be locked into a draft day if we know the season's not going to start for another 2 months, in the baseball situation.
Right. So
I'm upset we already with all this unknown.
Yes. So baseball, it was dumb, and I feel like a lot of it was my fault because I was ready for the draft. I wanted to draft. I was ready to go, and I was like, let's just do it. And now a million things have changed, and we don't know. And it was kind of dumb. I think I have a really good baseball team, and if we play, I'm going to have a good chance to win. But you're right. If we should definitely have a contingency to change if there's a delay.
Yeah, if there's a known significant delay before that date arrives, we postpone it until we pick a new day.
So, yeah, all right.
I feel like it's going to be hard to get everybody to quickly assemble for a new day. We might have to go Zoom auction. We might have to move something.
Well,
we might have to do
or
something.
allow people to participate that way.
Yes.
So this is what I was going to say. So I think the initial thing is we try to set up a day for an auction at Dustin's house. I assume your house is good, like usual. Dustin?
Yes. Okay. I nodded and I forgot because I'm nodding on the screen, but that doesn't do anything.
So we start out, we'll set out a date to have a live auction at your house on August 29th. And we'll see if that works for everybody. That date's worked in the past, so hopefully it'll work in the future. Then,
got a lot of time to plan.
As soon as we set up that date, I will also reserve that spot, that exact time, for a Yahoo online auction. That way, if something happens, where, because who knows, you may not want, not everyone might want to go get into a big group together at that time. We don't know what the world's going to be like in 2 months.
No, then you're out of the league.
So I will set up an online auction. But
not the same league with me.
But if it's an online auction, everyone would have to draft online. Some people could get together and we could all sit around your house, But I don't want to tell people they have to come or whatever. We don't know what it's going to be like at that time. Things might be better, things might be worse. We really don't know right now. So I'll just reserve that spot just in case. And then it would be like, we pick our time and date. We plan on having it at your house. If that can't happen, the online spot will already be booked. And if we do just have it at your house like normal, I'll just cancel the online draft and do it like we've always done it. So
Copy that.
That makes sense, right?
Yep.
And I would actually even be okay with moving it back a week, because Labor Day weekend is better to do the draft because we have one more week of knowing what's going on, who's making the team, and who got hurt in preseason week 3. So like making it like, because an online auction is not going to take 7 hours like our drunk asses take regularly. Right.
Gives us an extra day to get over the hangovers from it.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Right. So, that'll be like, I'll probably mention the date in the email for everyone who's listening. Like, we'll probably already know the date I suggested. So that's the plan. The plan for the auction. So we're 56 minutes into this. 52 minutes in. Do you guys have time for the trivia game? It's kind of short.
Hold on, I had notes in another category.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Let's
Let me get it here. Oh, just general coronavirus stuff. I thought the talks were going to be more in the direction of like, how do you think it was going to affect the NFL as a whole, not necessarily so much the league.
Yeah. Okay.
And some notes about like, you worry about rookie position guys and stuff like.
Right. So I do.
Lack of time in organization is going to play in big.
Yes. I agree. I don't want you guys or any of us to give away any thoughts or strategies that we may take into account basically in none of these preseason shows do I want anyone to like tip their hand on what they're thinking for their team. I get
it. It makes sense.
It's not really fair. It's not really fair to you, like, to tell me what you think about those thoughts. Like, before we did baseball, I didn't go out there and tell you guys that I was looking for guys who probably were going to be on like a 100-inning limit and think, hey, that 100 innings is going to be the majority of the baseball season. But that's what I was doing. So, like, I don't think you should have to tip your hand about that just because you're on the show. But, like, Kisher Brandon's never going to come on the show and tell us, like, their thoughts.
Well, maybe they should.
They should come on the show. I agree. But nothing can be unfair to Dustin because he's going to finish like last again anyway. But, that is something we should talk about. Unless you guys have thoughts. Dustin, unless you have thought about that.
I got no thoughts on that corona affecting the league.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be effects, and people are going to have to take those into account.
Well, no thoughts that I'm willing to share with you guys. Like you said, I'm keeping my close to the vest, too.
So this...
I'm an open book over here. I'm an open book.
So on this... Rico, what would you think we should do as a contingency if we don't do a live draft? If we do an online draft, should Dustin sing a duet with the last place person this season and push that back too? Or should it be like he sings it at his house and we broadcast it? Or... Because I do think probably at least some of us will get to... Even if there's an online auction, at least like 5 or 6 of us are probably going to get together to do it, right? It won't, right?
You would think.
So would you have him sing it in front of a smaller group?
Now it's like fucking real bad or something.
Right, we don't know. Like, things are opening, but they're opening for like political reasons, not because it's like safer.
Right.
So we don't really know we don't know. Hopefully things will be fine in a couple of months and, we'll be at bars and hanging out and it'll be no big deal. I have trouble seeing that as the option, but maybe it is. That could be. I'm wrong about stuff all the time. But when do you think Dustin should sing the national anthem then in that scenario?
I think I don't know. The video evidence is so bad, like, it doesn't really matter if we're actually there.
If we're all there or not.
I will say, like, having to do it with people looking directly at you.
I agree.
Makes it way worse.
Right, like, because remember I was sending you guys video messages like 2 years ago when I bought the mic, and when I was singing it, like, no big deal because I was sitting in my desk chair singing it to you guys on like emails. That's not the same as standing up and singing it in front of everybody and broadcasting it on Facebook.
If it helps, when I practice, I have my eyes closed because I'm really feeling it. So I don't see you guys anyway.
He's feeling that national.
Okay. Well, so maybe some people can give us their thoughts on that.
Eyes closed is a good move, though, for sure.
All right, Rico, do you have any other thoughts? But without giving away your draft strategy.
What I think is teams that have no real thoughts beyond that.
Do you guys have time to play this trivia game? It is short. I know I always say it's short. This one is actually short.
If it's actually short, yes, because I do have pizza waiting for me upstairs.
Well, I have this short game, and then I have the exercise. I guess you guys could actually do for homework. I guess the part I asked you to get the paper and the envelopes for.
Wow.
All right, let me grab a pen. Oh no, I got one in my bag. Pen. Okay, pen right here so I can keep you guys' score.
Well, if I have a pen in my office.
In my closet office. Rico, Dustin. I have 20 questions here. Maybe we'll go with only 10 of them. This
20 questions doesn't sound fast.
Wait till you see though. They're very short. They're very, very short questions. It's very short. So let's go with an odd number, I guess, so there can be a tie and we break it. We'll go.
Roll all 20. Roll all 20.
Okay.
I got
20. It is. Rico. What Rico says goes. He's the big man.
Are we buzzing in with our names?
Yeah. So when Dustin, you will say Dustin.
Got it.
Rico, you will say Rico. Okay.
This is just general trivia.
Nope. I'm gonna explain to you right now. It's pretty similar though. This game, we actually have played this game before. It's called Who Does He Play For? Handa did not do very good at this game, and it was in season. This is off season. It's obviously going to be focusing on guys who change teams this off season. I've been listening to some podcasts, and
Son of a bitch.
I've been pretty surprised at what some teams some of these guys are on now. And I know Rico said he had not done any preparation, and I know Dustin didn't do any preparation. So you guys should be on an even playing field.
My sports knowledge is at an all-time low right now. Like, I've completely, I don't watch ESPN. I don't,
Me neither. That's why so many of these were a surprise to me. Some of them was like, oh, I kind of remember that. But no, I don't watch ESPN. I don't watch sports at all, really. I watch live games if I can. I watched a bunch of Muhammad Ali fights the one night. I didn't know a lot of these. But it'll be a fun exercise, I think.
All right, let's give it a go.
Okay. These aren't in any particular order, tougher or easier. They probably start easy and get tougher. We'll start though. Question number 1. What team does he play for? Phillip Rivers.
Dustin.
Rico.
Dustin.
Wait, Phillip Rivers?
Yeah.
He plays for the Colts.
Correct. Phillip Rivers now plays for the Colts. Question number 2. Who does he play for? Jameis Winston.
Rico.
I know it.
No. Dustin.
New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, damn it.
Third question. Dustin's up 2-0. Who does he play for? Teddy Bridgewater.
Dustin? No, that's not there. I was going to say Tampa Bay, but that's not right.
Rico.
Yes, that's it.
Say it again. You cut out. Carolina Panthers is correct.
That was it.
Okay. Who does he play for? Number 4. Cam Newton. Rico.
The Jets.
No.
Dustin.
Nobody is the correct answer. Cam Newton is still unsigned.
Trick question.
Isn't that the same as the Jets?
Question number 4.
Just no.
5. Who does Robbie Anderson play for? Rico.
Redskins.
False.
I'll say Denver.
Denver also incorrect. The answer is the Carolina Panthers. We got a whole little Panthers string there. Question number 6. I'm going to stop listening to questions because I'm about to forget what number we're on. Next question. Who does he play for? Melvin Gordon.
Dustin.
Dustin.
The Chargers.
No.
I didn't think he moved.
I'll go Chiefs.
Who'd you say?
Chiefs.
Chiefs?
Kansas City Chiefs.
No, that would be awesome, but no.
That would be awesome.
Melvin Gordon plays for the Denver Broncos now. That was when I...
Oh,
He does?
Yes, I did not know that either. Next question. Who does Emmanuel Sanders play for?
I heard this.
I got nothing.
I just heard this today, I think.
We're given 5,
Oh,
4, 3, 2,
Rico
1.
Steelers.
False. Incorrect. Manny Sanders plays for the New Orleans Saints.
That's what I knew it. I knew it. I did know that.
Next one. I don't know if... Maybe you guys know this one. Who does he play for? Marcus Mariota. Rico.
Bears.
Not correct.
Seahawks.
Also incorrect. Marcus Mariota is the backup quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh.
Next one. Who does he play for? Eric Ebron.
Rico. Falcons.
Nope.
Falcon.
Still no.
Nothing.
Dustin,
I got no guess.
Dustin has no guess. Eric Ebron plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No shit.
Hated him.
Next one. Who does he play for? This one might be easier. Austin Hooper.
Dustin. Browns.
Cleveland Browns. Austin Hooper. Dustin is winning 4-1, but there is a lot of questions left. Plenty of time and some easy ones for Rico to come back. Next question. Who does he play for? DeAndre Hopkins. Dustin.
No, that was the wrong team. Fuck, he traded.
You didn't even say it yet.
I know, but I was going to say Arizona.
Arizona is the correct answer. The way you were stumbling through that, I did not think you had it. Dustin is up 5-1, putting a shellacking on Rico here. Still a lot of questions to come up with. Who does he play for? Big name here. Todd Gurley.
Dustin. Falcons.
Dustin is up 6-1.
Oh, my reaction time is hampered, it seems.
I'm not watching the video. I have like my audio recording up, so I couldn't see if you have the bong in your mouth. Who does he play for? Stephon Diggs.
Dustin.
Bills again. What? Got Chris Mortensen over here.
On a little run, little heater.
All right, next one. This one's tougher. Who does he play for? Nick Foles. Dustin.
Browns.
No.
Wait, who did we just sign?
Rico. Jacksonville Jaguars?
No.
Patriots.
Nope. Nick Foles plays for the Chicago Bears.
Who's the decent backup quarterback we have?
I don't know. Rico, do you know who the Browns signed? I don't know.
I don't want to give it away if it's a one for later.
It's not.
In your list.
I do not have any Browns quarterbacks on this list.
Yeah, I feel like we brought some.
Case Keenum.
The Browns have Case Keenum?
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
The fancy guy. One with that's in this system. There's one in this system.
Huh, Case Keenum. Interesting. You know, Case loves that. Okay, next one. Who does he play for? Devin Funchess. I did not know this.
I don't know who he used to play for.
He used to play for he played for the Panthers and the Colts.
I got nothing.
I'll take a stab. Lions.
No. Right division. He plays for the Green Bay Packers. Rico, I think
Really?
you need to get all the rest of them correct to force a tie here.
And they said they didn't go out and get Rodgers any weapons.
Yeah,
That's what I
right.
said.
Who does he play for? Hall of Famer Jimmy Graham.
I mean, I knew he was leaving, but I don't know where the fuck he went.
Nope.
I'm going to say nobody. Rico, nobody.
That's not correct.
Ooh.
Not correct.
I got nothing. I'll say the Bears.
It is the Bears! Blow the dust! Did you?
Not really.
Yes. Did you? You know, I guess I'm not looking at you guys. You could have. Well, by your answers, I know that you guys do not have ESPN open. Yes, Jimmy Graham plays for the Chicago Bears. All right. Well, Rico already won Dustin already won the game in a shellacking. I don't think he beat Handa this bad.
All right. We don't need to go
All right. We got a couple more left. Who does he play for? David Johnson.
Dustin. The Texans.
The Texans.
Yeah.
He was the trade for the other guy.
Yep.
I mean, I've known some of these. He's just beat me.
I'm fast.
Oh, I've known some of these. He's just beating me
That's
to
like
it. The
some
Brad
stuff.
Rutter story.
The Brad Rutter. I'm just not quick on the buzzer.
That's like
buzzer's
the
broken.
time the movie of the week. He keeps beating. I knew it, but he kept beating me to it. The Brad Rutter story. All right, Dustin is winning by a lot. It's 9-1. Who does he play for? This is a tough one. Tyler Eifert. Rico.
Falcons.
No, that would be a good fit.
I like how you keep going to the Falcons for the tight ends because they lost a tight end. It makes
They
sense.
got somebody. I remember they got somebody.
Yeah, why isn't he on my list? Oh, I thought I had that guy. It's Hayden Hurst. I thought I had him on this list, but I don't.
Oh, first.
I'm going to say the Patriots.
No, that would be good too. No, Tyler Eifert plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, that's great.
2 more left. They are both players you guys know, and you may not know who they play for. Who does he play for? Jason Witten.
Dustin. He's not on the Cowboys?
Nope.
He came back and didn't go to the Cowboys?
He did. He came back, went to the Cowboys. Now he's on another team. Rico.
The Chargers.
No. Jason Witten plays for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh.
Last one, and I am going to make this a 8-pointer.
Uh-oh.
Who does he play for? Joe Flacco.
Dustin.
Rico.
Go ahead.
Denver Broncos.
No, they could have tied the game with that one. No, not the Broncos. Dustin.
Oh.
There was
You
news
could
this.
really shellac me if you get this 8-pointer.
There was some news this week about Flacco. I thought you guys might know.
There was. He came out and said he doesn't mind being a backup. He'll try to earn the spot. I just don't remember where now.
He may not be ready for camp.
Who's that? Where's he at?
The New York Jets. He's the backup quarterback for the New York Jets. Okay, well we're an hour and 10 minutes in. I know you guys. So the other thing I asked you guys to bring the paper and envelope for can just be a homework assignment that you guys can do for me. It wasn't something I needed done right now. So here's what I wanted. I want you to go on your computers and bring up the Fantasy Pros ADP of everyone. Just bring up the right now May 29th Fantasy Pros Fantasy Pros rankings, and just go through them real fast and make a note of a quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end that, looking at the May 29th rankings, you're like, oh, I like this guy. This guy's too low. I could see myself drafting him. This guy's too high. I don't want him. And mark a few guys. I already did my list. And then I want you to, when you finish your list, put them in the envelope, seal the envelope, and then either bring it to the auction or we'll do it on the podcast after the auction. We'll reveal our lists and compare them to our teams and laugh about it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No particular, you need one of this, one of that, one of that. Just
No, I mean, like, if you have, like, so...
You're super undervalued.
Under and over. Also mark down some guys that you're like, oh no, this guy's way too high. I'm never going to take him if I have to pay that much for him. I did this list while I was waiting for you guys at the bar, and I thought it might take a while. And in, like, less than 10 minutes, I have 4 or 5 guys in like and hate at every position. So I think it's going to be a lot easier than I initially thought. But just mark some guys down, and then after the draft, we will compare our lists and talk about... Because there's guys I'm sure that we like now that come September and be like, why do I like that guy?
I like it.
All right.
I thought that would be
do it.
Fun game to
I already
play.
saw a few. I just brought it up real quick. I already saw a couple I was looking at.
Okay. So, you guys any last thoughts you want to add about anything before we close the show down?
I hope they play a Super Bowl because the Browns are going to win it. That's what you need to know.
Wow. Rico must have been drinking over there.
No.
That's all you can do.
His drink?
I got nothing. I think we had a pretty good little run here.
I think so too. I wish we would have gotten it started earlier, but well, we worked our way through it.
That's all right. I like pizza better cold anyway.
Well, no, but you put it in the oven and then you get like the bottom crust nice and crispy.
It's a double crust.
I know what that means.
Oh, fuck.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. Thanks for bearing with my early. For everyone listening, I would like to do probably 2 more episodes before the season starts, assuming it starts on time, before the draft starts anyway. So if anyone wants to come on and talk about some things, well, it'll be later. Like, I don't want to do another one until August, but I just wanted to get this one out now for everybody. Actually, I think this is probably one of our best shows we've had, really.
We got 2 good guests on. What can you do?
We did.
We couldn't miss.
Our most prolific guests. All right, guys, thank you very much. For Dustin, for Rico, I will look forward to hearing from everybody soon. Say bye.
Later, fellas.
Bye.
Feels like another weekend. Keep pretending that it's easy, so my soul.